Today, he shares the differences and similarities between public speaking and performing on stage in a play. From the Speaking to Inform manual, please welcome Mr. Bill Murray, Toastmasters and the Theater, Bill Murray.
I live in a world of fools. Merry Christmas. With Christmas, what is Christmas time but an opportunity for people to buy gifts they cannot afford? You grow a year older but not a dollar richer. If I had my way, every idiot who runs around yelling Merry Christmas would be boiled in his own stew and buried with a stake of holly in his heart. He should. Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, lines from Dickens' Christmas Carol as said by Ebenezer Scrooge in 6 performances up in Woodville. Today I want to share with you how Toastmasters prepared me for this new hobby and what I appreciate about Toastmasters, the gift of Toastmasters has given me. And in doing that, hopefully you recognize the gift that Toastmasters has given you and share that gift with new people when they come through the door. There are 6 things that I want to talk about today. And by the way, this is an impromptu speech, so let's see if I follow what Trent said this morning. And to help me with this impromptu speech, what are the 6 things, John?
The 6 things are memorization, pause, eye contact, position, face, body, and be yourself and be your part.
Memorization. I have always found memorization easy in the sense of most of my speeches are impromptu. I have an idea in my head and I scratch out some notes as I did this morning for this speech. And although sometimes I may not remember your names, it's easy for me to memorize and get a concept and move forward with that. And when I'm up here, I can flow a line, I can say something and just kind of keep moving along. And that's been very helpful. But in theater, you have to be very careful because people are waiting for their cue line. And if you impromptu, when you're on the stage and you're looking at someone and you don't deliver the cue line, you get this look. And they don't know whether you're done or you're pausing for audience reaction, so memorization becomes important. And being able to speak on my feet has always been important because of my career. I train, I consult, and I have to be able to respond to people in the moment, and so that's why I do a lot of impromptu speaking. But in theater, you have to deliver the cue line. The other part of memorization is you have to listen for your cue line. So you have to memorize or know what they're going to say so that you can deliver your line because the whole thing falls apart if you don't do that. But Toastmasters has really helped me with that. And this morning I didn't trust my memory, so I wanted to have John help me. The second point.
Pause.
Pause. The director of this Christmas Carol is from Chicago, where he worked for a number of years in Chicago's Alley Theater. So he is very good. And he would coach the actors who have done a lot of work. When you hear laugh, pause, and then repeat. And most of the actors who were with us, or with me, in Dickens' Christmas Carol, would talk through laughter in the audience. They would talk through it. Or they'd deliver a very poignant line and not pause to let people digest that line. And before every performance, he would tell the actors, okay, when you hear laughter, freeze, back up and say it again. And he did that in every performance because nobody was doing it, except, check out the pause, except Bill Murray, who had been coached during evaluations. Pause. I found it so easy, so thank you, Toastmasters. When you deliver a line, a poignant line, or a thoughtful line, whether people are laughing or not, stop. Let them experience, let them run through their own memories of what that means. And I found that so easy. And before every performance, he would come out with his notes and everybody, we started joking about, I'm going to get a line item. Well, told I have good eye contact. To me, eye contact is so important because you give me energy. Like John's paying attention, he always pays attention to me. I'm his mentor, he believes in me, I just got him fooled. So eye contact is really important. I get energy. So halfway in the third performance, the director comes up to me and he says, Bill, you're having eye contact with the audience. Don't do that. I said, whoa. Really a struggle for me. He said, what's happening is you're building up a relationship with your audience as Bill Murray. You're Ebenezer Scrooge. You need to talk to the other actors because you're building up a personal relationship. And the audience has to have a relationship with Ebenezer Scrooge, not Bill Murray. And it was so hard for me not to look at, I needed the energy. We have audiences that sometimes I call them flat. You weren't getting a lot of action, response from the audience, and so I needed eye contact. Come on, give me some energy. And it was so hard not to have eye contact with the audience. But that's one difference. Eye contact, you'll notice when I started my speech, I wasn't looking at you, I was looking at this Fred, my nephew, delivering that line. So that was really hard for me not to have eye contact with my audience. And right now I'm having eye contact with you because it is so important for me. Next point.
Position.
Position. When we're giving a speech, we use all the area here. But in a play where there's audience here, here, and here, and there's several actors, you're always on the diagonal because you never want to have your back to the audience, and so I'm on the diagonal. You can see me here, and you can see me here. So I'm never like this. I'm always on the diagonal. In theater, particularly on the stage that we have, which is audience here, here, and here, that was relatively easy for me. In theater, they don't put your fanny to the audience, be on the diagonal. So that was easy for me. Next point.
Face, body.
Face and body. Ebenezer Scrooge, through the whole performance, up to the point of my redemption, I was like this. Kind of old and crotchety. I was trying to give this thing about being an old, crotchety kind of a guy, angry, hated Christmas, and so I was like this when I was walking around with the ghost. But when I wake up that morning alive, I stood up strong, and people in the audience saw the difference. They said, you were such a crotchety old guy and inward, and then all of a sudden you were like this. It accentuated what I do in Toastmasters, using my body, and I used my face. There were several points, like Ghost of Christmas Present comes out with a big boo, audience laughed, and I just turned like this and gave a facial expression of confusion. What's this? I got another roll of laughter. So in using my face in Toastmasters, that was really helpful to convey a message to the audience. And finally,
be yourself, be your part.
Hard for me. Up here in Toastmasters, I'm myself, but I had to be the part of Ebenezer Scrooge and stay in that part. And how I prepared myself for that is I watched 5 performances of A Christmas Carol. 1936, Alistair Sims, George G. Scott, Bill Murray, and the new one with Carrie. Trying to get into the part. Couldn't be Alistair Sims. I had developed my own Scrooge, but watching other people do it, I found my part. In one part of the play where I regret my treatment of Bob Cratchit, I actually got teary on the stage. I was so into my part. Every time I was on the ground waking up in the morning after crying to the Ghost of Christmas Future, I'm not the man I was, I'm not the man I was. I had tears in my eyes. I got so much into the part. It takes much more practice and getting into the part than in Toastmasters, but hopefully in future speeches I'll be more into what I'm saying rather than delivering a speech. An incredible experience for me. Toastmasters has given me so much. I'm sure it's given you a lot. Appreciate that and give the gift to our new members.